All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're working on 7374 notes. We're going to do goal number 1 and 2, which is adding, subtracting rational expressions with common denominators and unlike denominators. Okay. So when I take a look at the first one, I've got 3x plus 3x over 4 plus 7x over 4. Well, I have common denominators. So all I have to do is add the tops, right? So on the top, 7x plus 3x, or 3x plus 7x is 10x. And then leave the bottom, it's over 4. Well, if you guys leave it like this, my math lab's going to ask you to simplify it. So that means for me, if this was a quiz or test, I would circle it and ask you to reduce. Okay, so 10 and 4, what do those guys have in common? What can we reduce that, Greg? Yeah, so reduce these guys by 2, and I end up with 5x over 2. And that's it. Okay, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, so when I take a look at the next one, it's subtraction. Okay. Well, when I have subtraction, I always think about adding the opposite, and we are subtracting this whole top. So you have to distribute to both terms on top. Okay, so I'm going to make this a plus by making this a negative x and a negative 7. Okay, so my denominator stays at 5, and now I simplify. I've got x minus x. That just cancels. Okay, and I can even write that here just so you can see it. And then minus 7. X minus x cancels, and I'm just left with negative 7 over 5. And that's it. Nope, the denominators just stay the same. So like 1/2 plus 1/2 is 2/2, and then I can reduce. Okay, so.
Well, how come we do make it subtraction? I don't understand why I like the point of that.
Point of what, Lil?
Changing it to a positive.
Changing it to a positive. So what I say is I add the opposite. Okay. So the idea is like if I had, I'm putting a number here. If I had, let's say 5 minus negative 7, right? I always say add the opposite. So I say, hey, well, that makes this plus positive 7. Because when you subtract a negative, it makes a positive. Okay. So what I make sure to do is I distribute the negative. You're subtracting both terms. Because what happens is you get, if you had the original x over 5 and then minus x plus 7 over 5, a lot of people will subtract the x, but then they forget to subtract the 7. You are distributing this negative to both terms, if that makes sense to you. So we have to subtract both terms up top. Okay? All right, so let's try this again here. Let's do C. So final answer for this one is negative 7/5. And we try the next one. Okay, remember you only add the tops together. So as I take a look, let me see if Mr. Garris has a highlighter in here, because I like highlighting. Okay, so I'm only looking at the tops. Okay, I have a common denominator. I have 3x. So my denominator is going to be a 3x, but it's only the highlighted part. Okay, so I have 4x plus a negative x. Okay, so combine the x's. What's 4x minus x? How many x's do you guys got? 3x, okay. And then I have 2 plus 1. We know that's 3. Okay. So far, so good? Is there anything that I can do on top? Greg? Yeah, so this 3x plus 3 on top, we can factor. So this is a binomial, this is a monomial. Remember, we can't just cross these guys out. But what we can do is we can factor that top. Okay, so we can factor this guy and reduce. So remember, binomials only reduce binomials, monomials only reduce monomials. So I can take out a 3. And now we can reduce. This is a monomial. This is a monomial. The 3's here reduce. And what you have now is x plus 1 on top over x. Okay. Now again, this is a binomial. This is a monomial. It has one term. You cannot reduce these. It doesn't work like that. Okay. It goes back to the idea of, okay, instead of x's, let's write 5's. If I have 5 plus 1 over 5, if I cross these x's out, that means I can just cross those 5's out. Can you do that? No way. You can't say that's 1. That doesn't work like that. 5 plus 1 is 6 over 5. 6/5 is not the same thing as 1. You cannot do that. Okay, I would circle this and put a big frowny face on that. If you cross these x's out, big frowny face. Can't do that. Again, binomial, monomial, they don't work together. Okay? All right, questions? So far, so good. All right, let's take a look. Next one, D. I've got 3y minus 14 over y minus 19, and then minus 2y plus 5 over y minus 19. I've got my common denominators, right? So I've got y minus 19, stays my denominator. And now I'm going to subtract the 2y plus 5, okay? Again, what I like to do is I like to make this a plus by making these all negatives because they're positive. I add the opposite. Okay, so I'm taking 3y minus 2y. And we should get y. And then I've got negative 14 minus 5. What's negative 14 minus 5? If you borrowed 14 bucks from me and then you borrow 5 more, how much do you owe me now? What's 14 minus 5? A little less. Not 19. Very good. So we get negative 19 there. Okay, so far so good. Any questions at home? Anybody questions here? So again, negative 14 minus 5 is negative 19. Okay, now, binomial, we can karate chop these things. They're exactly the same. And again, if I reduce, like 2 divided by 2 is 1, 5 divided by 5 is 1, y minus 19 divided by y minus 19 is 1. Final answer. In that case, they completely reduced. How are we doing? Why don't you try the last one here? See if you get this one. I've got 7y over 6 minus 2y plus 3 over 6. Okay, we got our common denominators. So now it's just looking at the tops. Again, do you have to add the opposite? No, you do not. But again, double check that you're subtracting both terms. We're going to make sure we're subtracting both terms. If you want to rewrite it, totally fine. So some people like to, saw somebody do this. So they got 7y over 6. And then they said, well, this is plus a negative 2y minus 3 over 6. They just rewrote that guy. Okay, so we took that negative, we distributed it, we simplified, and Maddie, what'd you have there? And then what, minus 3?
Minus 3 over 6.
Awesome. We cannot take the 6 and the 3 guys and reduce. They don't work together. This is a binomial. You either take that 5y minus 3 or can take nothing out of it, okay? And then we have a 6. So final answer is this guy right here. Okay. You guys have any questions for me? People at home, people online. Any questions, y'all? Nothing. Isabel, we're okay. Claudia, Jose, Alana, James, Jimmy, Jaden, Jasmine. I know. It's just weird to see you there and then right there. Ethan, you're good? Mariana, nothing, huh? We're okay. This is easy, Mr. Gotch. Okay. Let's move on to the hard stuff. What do you say? Goal number 2. How do we do this with unlike denominators? OMG. OMG, Mr. G. We need an LCD. We need a least common denominator. Okay? So the first thing I notice is I got 6x and 8x. So we need an LCD. So first start with the numbers 6 and 8. Okay? I can't make 6 into an 8. So then I start doing multiples of the big guy, 8. So 8, can I go, okay, the next multiple is what, 16? Okay, can I make 6 into a 16? Then 24, right? 24 is the next multiple of 8. I can make 6 into a 24, can I? All right, so I've got 24, and then they both have x's, so I need a 24x. Okay, so far so good? All right, so what do I need to multiply 6x to get 24x? A 4. So if you do it to the bottom, you got to do it to the top to keep the fraction equal. So I'm going to multiply this guy top and bottom by 4. 4 times 7 is what, 28? And 4 times 6x is that 24x. So far so good. And then what do I need to multiply 8 by to get 24? 3. So I multiply top and bottom by 3. 5 times 3 is 15. And 3 times 8x is that 24x. Look at that. Looks good. Now, only add the tops. Only the tops. Okay, so I'm going to get 24x here. And on the top, add 28 plus 15. What do we get? 38, 40, 43. Okay. All right, so 43 over 24, does that reduce at all? If it was an even number on top, it would reduce, but I don't think 43 reduces the 24 at all. I think 43 is prime, isn't it? So that's it. Final answer. So if you don't have common denominators, we need to get them, and getting them is not too bad. But again, it's getting tougher, right? This is how math is. We start with something easy, and then it gets a little bit tougher. All right, so we take a look at the next one. I've got 3 over x minus 4 over x squared. Okay, so LCD has to be at least the biggest guy. So it has to be at least x squared. Can I turn x into an x squared? Can I multiply something to x to turn it into an x squared? And I see heads shaking yes. Right? So my LCD is x squared. Okay, what do I have to multiply this guy by to turn it into x squared? Just x, top and bottom. Okay, so 3 times x is 3x, and then x times x is x squared. And then I have this. I'm going to turn this into a plus by making that a negative. Again, you don't have to. I like to do that. That's just me. And now last but not least, I like to highlight the tops because that's the only thing now is the last step is just add those together. I've got 3x plus a negative 4. That's just 3x minus 4. And on the bottom, I have x squared. Okay. Can I reduce this x with this x squared? Maddie's shaking her head. No, you cannot do that. Okay. This is a binomial. This is a monomial. You reduce the whole 3x minus 4. You don't touch it. Okay. So final answer right there. 3x minus 4 over x squared. So not too bad. So far, so good? We got a few more here, guys. All right, so I take a look at the next one. OMG, we got some binomials now. I've got x minus 3 and I've got x plus 2. Okay, so LCD. I have to have those binomials. I have to have an x minus 3 and I have to have that x plus 2. If I don't have them, I need them. Okay, so that is my LCD. I need that. I need both terms here. Okay, so when I take a look at this x minus 3, this one's missing the x plus 2. Okay, and you know what, guys? I'm going to rewrite these just so that it's a little bit bigger to write so you can see what I'm doing. Get rid of that C. So all I'm doing is rewriting. So this guy's missing x plus 2. So I'm going to multiply that top and bottom. If I do it to the top, I've got it to the bottom and vice versa to keep it in a fraction that's equal. Okay. This one is missing the x minus 3, right? So far, so good. All right, so now we can do a little simplifying here. Okay, so I'm going to write this over here. I'm going to take this 3 and distribute. Okay, so I'm going to take this x plus 2 times 3, distribute, that's 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. So far, so good. Now I'm going to take this negative 5. You see how that negative comes along for the ride? If you want to make this a plus and make that a negative, add the opposite. That's fine. That puts the negative right next to the 5. You can do that right away up here if you want to. But I got to take this negative 5 times each one of those. So negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times negative 3 is 15. And both of those are underneath that LCD. Well, if you want to just write one LCD to save space, you can do that now. Okay, so it's both under that x plus 2 and x minus 3. So far, so good. Did I lose anybody? This is like the Army. We can't leave anybody left behind. Okay, so again, we're just adding these two guys together. So add those two guys up. And we get 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. And then 6 plus 15 is what, 21? And that's all over that denominator, x plus 2, x minus 3. So final answer, you should get is negative 2x plus 21, and then over that LCD of x plus 2, x minus 3. Again, OMG scale, oh my gosh scale, difficulty is probably like a 4 or a 5, right? A little bit harder, but not terrible. Nothing you guys can't handle. You guys want to do at least one more here? Okay. We got another 9 minutes or so, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's at least do number 2D here. People at home, if you guys have questions, let me know. Last thing that I see is I got a trinomial on the bottom and I've got a binomial, okay? If I'm doing an LCD, the first thing I want to do is factor any bottom denominator that I have, okay? So we want to factor this guy. So I'm going to rewrite it. What do you guys have factors of 6 that add up to 5? What is that? Hunter, you know what those are? Factors of 6 that add up to 5? Factors of 6 that add up to 5? Two numbers multiplied together. 2 and 3, that a boy. Good job, guys. And then all I'm doing is, so I just factored that guy, and now I've got 3 and x plus 3. All right, I like to write the LCD when I'm using for that. So remember, LCD has to be at least the biggest one. Well, in my case, the biggest one is this guy right here. It's got to have an x plus 2 and an x plus 3, right? So this guy has to have at least an x plus 2 and an x plus 3. So that guy's good. This guy is missing what? X plus 2. Okay. So we simplify a little bit, right? Again, we're going to eventually combine these guys. So this is where I like to write that LCD just one time. And now I put my tops together, okay? So I'm putting this x and this guy together. So I got this x is right here. That's for the first fraction. And then I got to distribute here. So 3, positive 3 times x is 3x. And then positive 3 times 2 is 6. So this is the first fraction. That's the second fraction top. Put them together. So we get 4x plus 6 over x plus 2 and x plus 3. Okay, for me, this would be okay. Okay, you could technically take out a what on top? What can you factor out on top? You can take out, what does 4x plus 6 have in common? 2. You could technically factor out a 2. But then I ask myself, well, did that help me reduce anything? There's no monomial on the bottom to reduce. And I have a binomial of 2x plus 3. Well, I can't cross out this x plus 3 because it's not 2x plus 3. They have to be exactly the same, okay? So my math lab should accept this, but if they should also accept this, okay? I bet this is really what they're looking for. So I try to factor, doesn't factor. This is really all you need to do, okay? So any questions, guys? All right, should we do E real quick? Or you guys understand? Give me a thumb. Where are we at here? Give me a thumb and home. I got sideways thumb. Do we want to see one more? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Again, you guys have my math lab to be working on. I'll show you guys one more here, okay? So when I take a look, I got E is x minus 7, and then on the bottom here, so I got 5 over x minus 7 plus 3 over the quantity of x minus 7 squared. So my LCD has to be at least the biggest one, which is x minus 7 squared. Okay, well, this guy right here is missing one of those quantities, right? So this one's missing one of the x minus 7s. Remember, x minus 7 squared is x minus 7 times x minus 7. Okay? So I need to multiply top and bottom by x minus 7. Okay? All right, so LCD is x minus 7 squared. I'm going to go ahead and distribute this 5 to both terms. So 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 7 is negative 35. And then this fraction, don't have to do anything, just add this 3 with it. So final answer, just combine your like terms. We get 5x minus 32, x minus 7 squared. Again, nothing on top reduces anything on the bottom. I can't factor the top to try to reduce anything. So it's pretty much all done.